If the locals learn to love what's under the water, then they want to protect it. And on top of that, they have an income from it as well. They find a good dive shop.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
check the reviews, check Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews. And also just start talking to the dive shops and see if you get a good response. So serene, so calm. Even if it's strong currents, they just don't care. They're just moving slowly. And the diver's like swimming really fast to stay in one spot and watch them. And they just like, what are you doing?
Hello, welcome back to Bajor Podcast. It's me, Gikarno. I think this is another episode and different episode that Bajor Talk Podcast made. Today we're going to talk about World Tourism Day things. That's why we invited Kak Sofia here. Actually, we have another plan to invite you exactly on the 27th last month, but it was another schedule. That's why we invite you. Maybe you can say hi to our viewers, our audience.
Yeah, sure. So I've been here for about 9 years, and I work in Dive Komodo. I am a dive instructor, but I also do management. So sometimes on the boat, sometimes in the office, and sometimes working from home, which is nice. I came here because of diving. Because Komodo very famous for diving. So I came here as an instructor looking for work 9 years ago.
Kakak Sophie, actually, how long have you been a diver?
I did my open water, which is the beginner level course in Thailand 2008.
2008.
And I've been diving most of the time since then, with a few gaps for other activities between. But I became professional diver in 2009, and then my instructor in 2012 up in Bunaken in North Sulawesi.
And which year you came to Labuan Bajo?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I was in junior high school, I think.
I'm older than you for sure.
I'm still out of Labuan Bajo in another Manggarai region.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was there, and when I was finished my junior high school, and then I moved to Labuan Bajo, and actually I was in tourism majority in my school.
Yeah.
But it was bad time because I was COVID. I couldn't practice my knowledge as actually supposed to be a guide, but it was bad. So I focused on doing painting on my school walls.
That's why you're so good at painting. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so skilled at painting, maybe.
But I think everything is changed day by day. What what the situations made us. That's why. So I don't know more about tourism, and I don't speak a lot with the tourism practice, and it's a good time to invite you here. And actually, so it's been 9 years for you staying in Labuan Bajo.
Yes.
And I think you can speak Bahasa or Manggarai.
Manggarai, no.
Manggarai,
no. Nakarabo, it's maybe 5 words.
Five words.
I try to focus on Indonesian first, but I'm not fluent yet. So for me, it's easier in English. I can speak like everyday things to people, but if we're doing an interview, it's better in English for me.
Okay. We just celebrate Tourism Day like a few days ago. How you personally celebrate and experience this moment, World Tourism Day as a diver?
So to be honest, we didn't really celebrate World Tourism Day.
Okay.
And I don't know if any dive shop did either.
Okay.
I haven't heard of anybody doing it. We're in the middle of high season, so every day we have full boats going out with tourists. So this time of the year is hard to squeeze in other things. It kind of falls a little bit at the wrong time of the year. But dive shops in general, we tend to get together and celebrate or do activities for other annual events such as World Ocean Day and World Cleanup Day, Coral Triangle Day as well. We have been doing activities. And for these kind of days, it's different depending on each activity. Of course, World Cleanup Day is about cleaning up. Usually many communities and dive shops and business owners come together and we go and do cleanups underwater or on land. World Coral Triangle Day. We had some events down with your campus down at the White Jetty, La Baggio. We did education to students about corals, the importance of corals, why we have to protect it, and also taking them snorkeling so they can actually see.
Actually, you do have a trash hero, right? So
Yes.
I mean, we don't do it when we're tourism. Like you do it every day with your team trash hero. And
Yes.
I believe it.
So we have a weekly cleanup with a trash hero Burak, which is a little bit outside. Then we have trash hero Komodo also, and trash hero Varloka. Trash hero Komodo is more in Labuan Bajo rather than Komodo. But we don't have regular events at the moment. It's more community events, educational events, things like that. We don't have a Friday cleanup like we do in Burak, which is on the way to Golomori, 13 kilometers. Anybody's welcome to come, but because it's not in the center of town, it doesn't tend to attract so many people. We do get some foreigners coming, like dive master trainees, they like to come along, and some of the instructors like to come too.
I think the point is we should do the movement of cleaning of
Absolutely,
we should do it every day, every week, month. We should do it. We shouldn't do it only
once a year.
once a year.
Absolutely.
I think,
and just the cleanups in itself is not going to solve the problem. I mean, if the trash is already there on the beach under the water, of course it's important we go and collect it and dispose of it responsibly. But really, number one, the focus should be on reducing the waste in the first place. Right? Almost all the things we find when we do a cleanup is single-use items that people just use one time, like a straw or a plastic bottle, and then it's straight away trash. So if we should focus on anything, it's education and awareness about reducing and finding solutions as well to make it easy for people. How do you reduce your waste in your daily life?
I mean, that's another point. And Kakak Sofia, you've been diving for 9 years. What is your challenge and opportunities being diving in Komodo National Park? I mean, so far.
Yes, for me personally, or for
for you personally.
Opportunities for me
and the challenge.
I mean, of course, it's working with diving in Komodo is. First, for personal benefit is amazing diving. I mean, not pay to go diving, but getting paid to go diving, of course, is absolutely fantastic. I think that's why a lot of instructors and dive master trainees come here, because they want to get good diving at the same time as they are getting paid or learning diving. The challenges we have here are the strong currents. So. Actually, more and more Komodo is becoming mainstream. Some years ago, I noticed a difference over 9 years that we used to have majority of the divers used to be experienced already, and they came here to experience the strong currents and the amazing marine life we have here. But now we're getting more and more beginners coming, and I think people don't quite understand that strong currents could be quite dangerous.
And
not just dangerous for people, but also for the coral reef
I
and
see,
the marine
I see.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
So nowadays we have a lot of people coming to want to try dive. They never dived before, which is fine. But it's better they come at quarter moon phase. So this is when the tidal water is less different. So full moon and new moon we get very, very strong current. It's a signal for current when we're diving. And that's not really suitable for the beginners. So it's good to kind of, if they contact us in advance, that we tell them if you can select other dates. But quite often they're already here and they come into the office and they want to dive. And it's very strong currents at the moment. So that's a big challenge to keep everybody safe. And sometimes you have to turn away guests because they're not ready to go in the conditions we have.
We can control the gas, but we cannot control the strong currents and then
absolutely
the weather and also the condition of the marine life. And which month are good
for diving?
Yeah, good for diving.
In terms of currents, is every 2 weeks you either have full moon or new moon. So all year around, at full moon and new moon, every 2 weeks we have the stronger current. So they kind of, let's say it's full moon today, then for every day that passes, it's going to be a little bit less until you reach quarter moon 7 days later, and then it's less. It's a general thumb of rule of thumb like that. But in terms of weather, we have from sort of mid-December to end of March, we have the northwestern winds coming in. And that can mean quite big waves in the upper half of Komodo National Park. And that's where all the day boats go, to the upper half. They don't go down to the south, which is protected that time of year. So if you want to come that time of year, the liveaboards are really nice. The longer liveaboards. But then we have nice weather, usually April, May, June. And then from July to September is windy from the other direction, from the southeast. And then it's nice in the upper part, but in the southern part, we have big waves and bad visibility. So you can dive pretty much all year round, but if you're departing from Labuan Bajo, which most operators are, then there is potential for really bad weather between December and March. And if you're unlucky, you might not be able to out. But if it's only a little bit wavy, then we usually can find protection somewhere because there's many islands that we can dive behind.
Nice. And I think the tourists should be completely known, all the days, all the months, which is good to have a dive. And you guys have dive instruction. You have put it on your pocket, right? But sometimes we can control the tourists when they come and they have in Labuan Bajo, and maybe we can recommendation them to come to another.
Whenever we try. Whenever we can, we try to book those in when it's better weather and better currents. They're suitable for them. But if they experienced, come at full moon, come at new moon. It's lots of fun. We do strong current diving, but you need to have good skills that you can stay close to the coral for protection without kicking in the corals.
From the several, destination in Labuan Bajo, I think the most dangerous is diving. I think. And what you think?
Diving is always a risk, but you have to manage the risk. So this is part of being a dive instructor. You learn to assess. Like you might have certain regulations from PADI or SSI or similar certification agencies, but we're also responsible to assess the situation, assess the person, and make sure it's comfortable and safe for them. It's in our interest as well as the guest interest. I mean, number one is the safety, but also we don't want to be in a situation where we are scared and worried about our guests and having a high risk. But diving can be a very safe activity if you with a good dive school and a good instructor as well.
We have to talk more about this one.
Sure.
About the diving, about how to dive in the good one and so on. So I guess in the 9 years, you should have a more and much memorable experience. Maybe you can pick one or two. I mean, memorable experience.
Yes.
And yeah, and what's spacious? I mean, the excited spacious
Yes.
being diving.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, mantas are incredible animals. They are very, highly intelligent, and if you work here with diving, you dive here regularly, they will recognize you, and this is really, really special. So you notice they come up to the dive leaders. It's almost like they come to say hello. And you start to recognize the mantas because they all have different patterns on the belly as well. So you can start to recognize a few of them. So it's nice to see the individuals. Yeah. So, but mantas we have all year round. October is really good because it's mating season. So that's very soon, any day, it should be getting very busy with mantas. So you can see maybe 25 to 30 mantas in one dive. It's just mantas everywhere. So at the rest of the year, yeah, you see a few per dive. Sometimes of the year they're not around. I mean, it's the ocean. They swim somewhere else sometimes. But I had thousands of dives with mantas already. Before I worked in Raja Ampat as well, and they have a lot of mantas there as well. So I'm a bit spoiled for mantas, but it doesn't really matter how many times you've seen them. It's still really breathtaking to see them under the water. They're very so serene, so calm. Even if it's strong currents, they just don't care. They're just moving slowly. And the diver's like swimming really fast to stay in one spot and watch them. And they're just like, what do you do? But then a few months ago, I was lucky to see a whale shark. Yeah, you know whale shark? They can go up to 12 meters. And they filter feeders like the mantas, so they only eat plankton. So they have a really big mouth, but they just use it for filter feeding. And they come through every now and then. I mean, you hear some dive shops see them every 1 or 2 months. Somebody's seen a whale shark. I was lucky to see one a few months ago on Subayo Kichil. Just in the end of the dive, we're just about to go up, and it just came swimming from the blue and just 2 meters from our group. So close. It's a baby, this one, but still big, around 4 meters. But they can go up to 12 meters. So it's a baby, but for us it's big.
Yeah, I think you got a good chance. But I heard my friends' stories that sometimes they do dive for many times, but they don't find the manta.
It can be like that sometimes, and we have sometimes a period of a few weeks where we don't see them. But then they might be seen more in the south, which is only accessible by liveaboards most of the time. So the day boats might not see them, but the people go diving in the south, they see them. So yeah, they move around. They have
Okay, as a tourist and a foreigner, the most thing that they should prepare for the diving, besides the things you said before, like put attention on the currents, and then learn and the demands, and what's the important things then later
for the visitors?
Yeah, I mean for the visitors.
Find a good dive shop. Check the reviews. Check Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews, and also just start talking to the dive shops and see if you get a good response from them. Check the website, see if they are environmentally responsible. They shouldn't have more than 4 people per group for certified divers, for example. Which I know most of the dive shops have, but it's still good to double check these things. One thing I want to say is that don't choose because of the price. So we have a lot of people that I understand people are backpacking and they want to save the money and they, but diving should number one be about safety and sustainability. So you don't want to cut corners when it comes to these things. Operating in Labuan Bajo is very expensive. because of the distance to the park. So in general, the prices are quite high if you compare to other places. But it is for a good reason. I mean, keeping the group small and having very high safety and paying the guides a fair wage and things like that. So it's one of the best places in the world for diving. Is if you're paying for it, you come all this way, just put in a little bit extra if needed, and just have a really good experience.
I think that's a good point to see the best dive, because I saw a lot of problems for the tourists. Sometimes the agent left them, and you might saw on the internet, right? The same problem, like the travel agent lying to the guests.
Oh, really?
And another about more 5 cases that happened in 2024, and much more in 2023. The same problem.
Okay.
The travel agent don't responsibility. They just sell the packet, and then don't responsibility to the packets that they sell.
So maybe there's even more of a reason to look for an agent or a dive shop that seems well established, because you have, I see every year there's new agents opening up. A lot of agents they don't have their own boat, but they sell trips, and then they will rent space on a boat. So there's some of them been around for longer, and they have a lot of good reviews. So I would say pick those. Again, don't go for the cheapest when it comes to snorkeling trips as well. Look for the good quality instead. But it's the first time I heard of this. I didn't know, but I'm sure something's going on. I don't think this area is famous for people being let down by agents.
For you personally, and how you see the diving life in the future in Labuan Bajo, and maybe you have another insight, another input for all my friends who are going to be a dive instructor and who wants to be a diver also.
I mean, this area is growing very fast. The government picked this place out to be one of 10 new Balis, because Balis is already very crowded. So they're focusing and advertising for people to come here. So improving infrastructure here and building a lot more big hotels. It's going to change a lot. This year we also started to get international flights coming in from Sydney and Singapore, from China. So we're gonna get a large number of people coming in, and I've seen a lot more dive shops opening in the last couple of years. We had a few that closed down in the pandemic, but since then they start up again, or new ones coming rather than starting up again. And now we are getting quite a lot of dive shops. So that also means there's more opportunity for local people to become dive masters and hopefully instructors as well. Tourism can be really good for an area if it's done in a good way. Because if the locals learn to love what's under the water, then they want to protect it. And on top of that, they have an income from it as well. So these two things combined is very important. So what I do like about Labuan Bajo is mainly local people working as dive guides and instructors. You have foreigners coming in as well, mainly as instructors, but the vast majority are locals. And this is very important, because it's the locals that need to stand up for Komodo and protect it, to make sure it's not loved to death, you can say. So the one thing that's very important is giving awareness to the guests that's coming, how to behave under the water. So they're not touching the coral, they're not stepping on the coral, they're not collecting things like shells, they just leave everything where it is. They don't chase after the mantas, so the mantas start changing the habits. This is very important, both from dive shops and from snorkel agents. That they give good education, and that the guides are showing good example how it should be. And if some guests are being a little bit naughty, talking to them and explaining why they shouldn't be touching a coral, and also don't take people to places where they're not ready for, so they're kicking in the coral but yeah, talking about sustainability, that's the direct impact of tourism. The negative impact of tourism is that people might be touching or breaking things, but we also need to consider the indirect threat from a high volume of tourism, which is more volume of trash being generated, bigger hotels, more pollution from cars, and runoff from the town into the ocean and things like that. So it needs to be managed well by government and business owners as well.
I think it should be the responsibility. It's dive center, actually, like what you said. And okay, for for more concrete things about the contributes of dive tourism to the economic development, beside the tax that government put from the travel agent, what's another contribute to the
economically?
Economically.
Again, because most of the guides are local, but not just dive guides, like all the rangers on Komodo Island and Rincha Island for the dragon trekking, they're all locals as well. So from there's money coming in as salary that is being spread into the community as well. I think Labuan Bajo doesn't have any major income apart from tourism. So you notice in the pandemic as well, a lot of people struggling because tourism, there's not a lot of money coming in. The way it works at the moment is that tourism is needed, but we need to be careful that we don't have too many people on the dive sites. It needs to be managed. It would be better to have a maximum amount of people allowed in the park per day. It can be hard to manage, but we cannot just open the door to unlimited amount of people in the park.
Like Bali now is over capacity. You heard that Bali is over capacity. And because of the positive way, they serve not only the tourism destination, but also their attraction on land. They have a lot of things to serve to bullets, so bullets can stay there for more days. But the Labuan Bajo, we just have the oversea, but on the land we don't have any culture surfing and then culture attraction. We don't have really much cultural attraction. That's the point that we still try to find out as a student. We try to find out what is the problem and why Labuan Bajo is still. I mean, the bullets just stay like for a couple of days.
Most people do, and it's a shame because Flores is so beautiful and there's so much culture, good food, there's waterfalls, there's caves. Quite a few people stay for an extra day and they go. Usually you have to wait with diving. After diving, you have to wait 18 hours before you can fly. So some people like to have one day rest before they fly. So then they tend to go to waterfalls. Maybe they go variable sometimes, but it's still quite unusual. It's the minority doing that. And then every now and then you get travelers, they're going to spend a few weeks inland. And everybody always amazed when they go on inland Flores and they come back. They say they never have enough time to do everything. There's so much to see. The people are so nice in Flores.
But my point is, in Labuan Bajo, actually, we don't really have.
In Labuan Bajo itself.
It's the now we don't really have more attraction like Bali do.
Yes, I agree. There's not so many activities you can do in Labuan Bajo apart from good restaurants, of course, but apart from that, there's no activities happening, and there's definitely a room for that.
So and actually it's to be like another hard work for us actually to create. Yeah, we still discuss about it. Like what body do now, what body do, and what's makes them overcapacity with the tourists. But actually, that's like hard work for us. Okay. Thank you, Kaka Sofia. You have shared a lot of things, and I think it should be the priority of a tourist who wants to dive. Yeah, yeah. Maybe the last question is like you've been 9 years in Labuan Bajo, and actually you have any input for the policies and the programs that can be implemented to ensure the sustainability. Yeah, yeah. Do you have like
I think there needs to be more socialization and training for all the operators going into the park. There's dive shops and snorkel companies and anybody who's going into the park, they should have training on how to behave and what to educate the guests on. Yeah.
That's the point, yeah.
Yes.
Point. And maybe the last one is what's your message for the tourists who want to come and have a dive? I mean, maybe you have a message for them who have a plan to come to Labuan Bajo.
Yes.
Yeah, like beside they have to find a good diving shop.
I think if you can get experience before you come here,
Sure.
but if you cannot do that, then you need to plan what time to come here.
Yeah, and then get exercise here. Yeah, we have a diving.
Yes, you can learn to dive here. And most dive schools teach all courses from the beginner up to dive master. I think if you want to do a dive master, then I really recommend Komodo.
Okay.
Because you learn so much about currents. You really have to be on the ball with assessing both guests and the dive sites. And then you have to tailor your plan after what your assessment, the results of your assessment. So it's not like I worked in some other places like Cambodia and Greece and Thailand, and there's no currents at all. So you can have exactly the same dive plan every time. But here it's not like that. You need to check the current direction and the current strength and decide how to do your plan after that. So for dive master training is super, super good. Advanced training, I really recommend here as well. Open water training, yes, if you come when it's not full moon or new moon.
I think there was a good experience that I have from you. I think we have another episode to share more.
Sure.
About maybe we talk about another program on what concrete way to celebrate the world tourism.
Yes, maybe next year we can.
Maybe next year, so we can talk more about stress, about sustainability, and
how to be a sustainable visitor is good.
Yeah. So the last message from you, maybe to young generation, maybe for me, on World Tourism Day. What do you want to say?
World Tourism Day, yeah. For next year, for sure, we can have a think about what to do for activities. But I think it's a good idea, like you say, how to be a sustainable visitor, because we have a big effect wherever we go traveling, and we don't always know the culture where we go traveling. It's good to find out about that. How to dress when you're around town, the way that you talk to people, because every culture is different. You have the etiquette of every culture. Like, for example, in Indonesia, you don't show the sole of your feet if you're sitting on the floor. In my culture, that's not really a problem, but here it's very rude. So that could be something that could be incorporated in World Tourism Day, like how to behave as a
Yeah,
visitor,
yeah,
how to dress a bit modestly, because it's quite conservative here still, even if there's a lot of tourism. We have quite a lot of Muslim here, but also the Catholics are also a bit more conservative. So we don't walk around in a bikini in town, for
Yeah,
example. On the boat is okay, but not when we go dragon trekking, not when we're walking through town as well. So, or just to be respectful with the local culture, which you need to know about it before you know how to follow it, right?
Insight for the tourists. I think thank you so much for your sharing and for your time to come to Baju Talk podcast. We should share more about tourism. We should share more about the what's the concrete way to do for the tourism, for the sustainability, and we hope we can invite you for another episode.
Sure.
We will find another topic. Good topic to talk. And for coming episode, we're going to invite another bullets, another tourism practice. We're going to find all the information from them.